Right, a very good morning to you and welcome to the second hour of the Dawn program here on our radio, a live broadcast from the capital, Juba. My name is Emmanuel Joseph Akile, together with Irene Jackson and Darlington Moses, who's behind the social media coverage. Now, in the second hour of the Dawn today, which is Thursday, the 27th of November 2025, we are going to join the world in marking the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. Now, this is not just another campaign, but then it is a call for action, reflection, and responsibility. Gender-based violence, or GBV, affects not only women, but also men, children, and entire communities. Now, and until it ends in our homes, it cannot actually end in our nation. I'm joined live in the studio right now together with Irene Jackson with three guests. We have Lemmy Thomas, officer, Men for Women organization. We have BL Charles, the male champion, and software engineer Gapo, Men for Women again, and also Martin Maluk, who's a male champion lawyer for Men for Women organization. It's good to have all of you in the studio this morning, gentlemen. Welcome to iRadio, and it's good that Irene Jackson is here. I'm going to ask you a lot of questions today. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Emmanuel. Good morning, the listeners of iRadio, and thank you for having us.
Thank you very much for having us this early morning. My name is BL Cha, and we're very excited. It's a very vibrant morning, and the 16th days of activism is also on, and we're very excited about it. Thank you for having us this morning.
Okay, thank you very much, dear listeners. It is a pleasure to be part of this novel commemoration day.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us today as we're marking the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. We're joined, of course, by Lemmy Thomas, an officer from Men for Women organization, Bilal, and also Bilal Shah, and also Martin Maluk. So today we're having all these great men who are championing, actually they're male champions, and actually they are working very hard into advocating for women's rights and also against the gender-based violence. So straight up to the first question, I can just throw it out to Lemmy Thomas, who's coming from the Men for Women organization. Why is gender-based violence not just a woman's issue but a man's issue too?
Thank you very much. As you all heard my name being mentioned, it is my honor to be part of this great discussion to unmask the purpose as to why gender or GBV is not just a woman's issue, but a men's issue is that it comes direct from the definition of gender. You know, when we talk about gender, we are talking about male and female. We're not talking about a woman. And when we come back to the aspect of creation, we are all human beings. We are all made in the image of God. So, a woman is a human being. A man is a human being. A woman can go through GBV, a man can go through GBV. But in this context, who is the most vulnerable? Who is the most vulnerable is the concern. So we find that a woman is most vulnerable, and a woman has been suppressed by different stereotypes and social norms. Now these stereotypes, patriarchal stereotypes, sometimes puts a woman down, in that a woman cannot speak up. Now, as a man who believes in equality, it is a necessity that men should come and also stand for the rights and well-being of women. If your woman is in an environment that is conducive, she feels like this is a sense of belonging, it boosts the productivity, there are high chances that the woman can even, assist in so many ways. And then we also find that our norms or social norms privilege men. Now, for these norms to be broken, the perpetrators should be the prime or ringleader in championing, social norm transformation. That is why you find men are very important. The reasons are many, but in the interest of time, I would love to stop there. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And now we go straight to Bill Cha. Bill Cha.
Yes.
And Bill, what are the harmful ideas about masculinity are causing violence in our community today, in light of gender-based violence?
All right. I would just want to say something small before I come to that question.
Okay.
When we say why men should and should be concerned when it comes to gender-based violence, which is normally people think it's supposed to be a woman thing. GBV it's to both. It's not only to the woman. So the reasons why men have to also be part is because they're either victims or they're the perpetrators of GBV. Coming to question number 2. So when it comes to masculinity, it's one of those things that I'm very passionate about, because a lot of things happen because of masculinity. Now, there's an aspect of positive masculinity and then there's negative masculinity. Now, the negative masculinity is what causes now this violence in most communities today. If, for instance, a man has been brought up that if you're a man, you are not supposed to maybe sweep the compound or being told what to do by the lady, and maybe there's no partnership. You're the overall authority in a house. What does this mean? It means now masculinity, which is part of the negative masculinity, will be able to impose a lot of this pressure to the woman, in light of the fact that he feels like he is in charge. He must be listened to. He must be entertained. So this is the relationship between masculinity in regards to violence in communities, because as a result of masculinity, it enables one to be able to have the wrong ideas, the wrong concepts, maybe the wrong practices. Is what I'll be able to share. We'll go into more as we go on. Thank you.
All right, that is negative masculinity.
Yes.
Of course, when we talk about negative masculinity, there is positive masculinity as well, but
Oh, yeah.
we'll come to that later.
Yes.
And Martin Maluk, why do men stay silent when other men commit abuse, and how can that silence be broken?
Thank you, but it's I would say it's a very comprehensive question, but let me try to give my take. The reason why men try to be silent, it's simply because, in my view, it comes from the cultural orientation, because men are groomed in a sense that they are not supposed to speak out on certain matters. So you find the cultural pressure on them forces men to keep silent on certain matters, instead of them speaking out. But they feel, if I speak out, it comes with an embarrassment, it comes with shame, it comes with something. So it has the what I would call a cultural backup of, not speaking out actually. So that's why you find men are keeping silence, and then they feel, if I report, and they call it, those one who knows Arabic, they bejiblana fadia. So, they call it fadia. So they feel I should not report what my fellow man has done, because it will bring shame, and it's more of, keeping silent for no good reason, in my opinion. But in the current situation is, we should be much of discussion. Whenever there's an issue, let's be able to report, because when you report, you're able to discuss, and then you're able to come out with the solutions that are deemed necessary for that problem to be addressed. But keeping silent does not help in any way. So the current men, with my colleagues who are here, plus the men outside that are listening, let us have a platform where we can be able to interact. And in case women are affected in your society, in your locality, be able to discuss with the men. Of course, people will say there are those men that, they speak too much. You tell them something, they will be able to share at least almost the entire community. You look at the person that you're telling to. When there's an issue, look at the person. Will that person be able to keep the information? and then be able to share with the reservoir people, because there are guys also, you tell them something, in the next 10 minutes, you find that it has almost covered the whole Junduru area, which is not helping in any way. So I would say it has cultural way of backup. Men are trained to be, resilient, and, people that tolerate things in silence and all those practices. So that's what I would say in that regard. Yeah.
Yes, just to add on to something in regards to this. So men sometimes stay silent when abuse is done because they don't even know. Some cultures have it that let's assume you beat your wife, and for them it's normal. So if someone beats his wife, which is not supposed to be acceptable, but because of their upbringing, it's part of a normal living. He beats his wife. So I will not see that.
Or the wife beats you actually.
Or the wife. Oh no! When the wife beats you, it's an abomination.
Some of us have been beaten, my friend.
You need help. They will say you need help. So some of the reasons why men are quiet is because they don't even know that this is an issue. Then coming to the fact that how do we now break that silence? It is through awareness. We need to let them know that these are not acceptable. These are not supposed to be happening. So that now they will get to know, oh, this is not acceptable. When they see it, they cannot be able to say, no, this is happening. But before, maybe they just don't know that this is bad.
But maybe quickly, as Akile has just touched the very important point, and if you are being beaten by your wife, sometime do you report or not? We have had this discussion for long, and we are trying to engage with our fellow men that, you see, there are some women that are, I don't know, but they are so much physical that to the extent that
they go to gym, or what do they do?
Some of them, I think, naturally, some of them naturally they are fit. Like most cases, these women are fit, and you find that these women, when they are having dispute in the house, they will be able to, to put the guy down. And men are saying, "Anama buiri le sabita," bijibla na fadia. But honestly, when it comes to beating is beating. If you have been beaten, be able to share with Biel, be able to share with Emmanuel Joseph Akile, be able to share with Lemmy Thomas, so that you can have a platform where you can be helped. What should be done next? But not you responding by beating the woman again. So,
but also there's that fear. Also, Molana, is in terms of now, if I'm being abused, not necessarily beaten or even harassed or anything that happened, part of GBV. If I report to, let's say, even if I go to the police station, not only reporting to a friend or to someone that I know or a colleague, they might even be overlooking, like they will be laughing at me. They will say, our cultures also. So how do we break those kind of barriers? Like, how do we really come out of this?
Thank you, Akile. I normally say change is a process. Change is a process. Some of the things, they may not be effective immediately, but I believe as we move on, they will change. Of course, that's why I was saying earlier on, some of the practices, they have what they call cultural attachment. Like, if you speak on these matters, they will see you that, no, our culture, magi tolerate kalamzede. So you feel, okay, because let me respect my culture and then go through the pain. But I believe in most cases, let's have a platform where we can interact. Let us break these things. And how do we break these things? We are breaking these things like the discussion we have. We are doing this discussion, and I'm very sure men are able now to listen. They are listening to this because men are speaking out. And then for us, the male champion, we come in also, most of our discussion, it is between us and the fellow men. So when we have this discussion, the rationale behind this discussion is to make sure that let the cultural way of doing things change. Let it be different. And that's why we normally, when we have these activities, we bring men together. We interact with the men. That it is normal for anybody to speak out on anything that he or she feels that affect him. It does not matter what the culture says, because at that time you'll be, in your house and the woman is beating or whatever that harassment is happening to you. If you don't share with the people, you will not get what I would say a right solution. So slowly by slowly, we will get it right. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so maybe a quick one. I would love to just put a practical step regarding, breaking those. First, let's take the case of the police. We need to have at least a specialized department that victims or survivors of GBV will just go there and have no discrimination and even feel comfortable, to present. And also the people who are working there need to be empowered in a sense that they should know how to deal with the issues relating to GVV. Not everyone is legible to handle GVV cases. It should be those people that are trained and that department only to handle. So, and also this will create an environment whereby everyone feels, comfortable. That's what I think is more practical in our context, because if you look right now, you may hear that there is a gender desk. There is a gender desk in every sector. But now the question is, are they functional? Are they run by the rightful people? Thank you.
So basically, coming down to answers from the question, why do men stay quiet when other men are abusing women? It's because of the cultural norms, and it's good enough that we're having main champions who are with us in the studio, who are going to help in changing those negative narratives, and also joined by Akile with us in the studio, who is definitely a man champion by virtue of being with us here today. So my question now goes to Lemmy Thomas. Lemmy, how does unemployment and financial stress increases violence in families?
Oh, thank you very much. Finance and employment is a garden today in our context. Way back, we dig everything you get from the garden. But now, in our context now, your pocket is your garden. And your job is your garden. So, how it accelerates violence? First, emotions tend to be high. Just take a instance. You work here. If you are not paid up to next month, do you still have the same mood? Do you still have the same zeal of working? Certain things change. So when it comes to home, when there is no money, anger tend to be high. Now when there is anger, there is always misunderstanding. And that is the spirit of, let's say, absence of money. So it will be now easy for GVV to take a course in that case. And then we also look into the aspect of, failing to meet ends. For instance, our culture say a man is a provider. These are the orientations, as my colleague mentioned at first, that we are culturally oriented differently. So when a man, fails to provide, there is that loss of self-esteem. And there is that feeling like, I am not now important. I am useless. Others can decide to run away from where they are. They can run to village. They can hide from nowhere. Others, even when you call them...
No, that's stereotype.
Yeah.
Stereotyping men.
Now, you find some men even, they keep on changing numbers. They keep on changing numbers because now you are supposed to provide, but you're not providing. You don't have a job. You try to hustle. Some people even step on your resources. Imagine you do for someone a work, you expect to be paid reasonable. But somebody will run away with your money. And others will keep dodging you. At the end of the day, you don't get your money. Now, this one frustrates you. And this is what happened to men, especially those who work in these casual works. You are in construction, you are in what? Some engineers even, you will do for them the work, and then they run away with your money. When you ask, you will not, find someone who is accountable. And this is what also sometimes make men to feel like, I need to move away from here because I'm not doing enough. Additionally, we also see that there are expectation pressure. For instance, my job gives me, or maybe I'm not doing anything, but let's take a instance that my family demands a lot. My parents need something, my wife needs something, my children need something, but I cannot make it. What comes at the end of the day, I get the pressure, and when I get the pressure, some people end their lives by committing suicide. And these are the things which I believe in Juba here, it is happening. We had a gentleman who committed the suicide because of a pressure from what? From the wife and the in-laws. And this one happened in Ilanya. Recently we have another case. Somebody just, killed himself with a knife. Recently. And then we have another case whereby someone is attempting to, end his life because Maluk mentioned earlier that there are women also who are energetic in a real sense. He was beaten over and over. Now he feels like, I don't belong here.
But why are men not coming out to speak about those issues that are facing them?
Yeah, earlier he mentioned things to do with the culture. Our cultures dictate how a man should be and how a woman should be. For instance, one of the norm which says a man must not cry. A man should not cry. What does that one mean? Psychological. And psychological, they say, even in a healthy aspect, they say crying is a health. But now if you're telling a man not to cry, and then others, when you try...
Is that not stereotyping?
Still within that context.
Yes.
Yeah, because when we talk of cultural orientation is broader, but when we break it down, we have the stereotype, we have the patriarchy, and the rest of the things. So we have also another context whereby a man is not supposed to raise what is bothering him. Even in the family, sometimes when you try to discuss certain things, there are women who may say, why are you talking like a woman? A man is not supposed to talk a lot. You talk 1, 2 kalas. White nin talata. Just like that. Now these things, sometimes men end up comforting themselves with the bottle of beer. Others, they end up even in a joint fork to enjoy. Still on the line of the financial issue, we have normalization of GVV, where there is no employment, and also there is what? There is financial stress. If somebody violated you or somebody committed GVV to you, for you to report, you need the resources. Let's say you are in Jebel Dinga. You want to come up to Juba or to Bikot. You need the transport. Now, for you to open a file, you need the money. So here, it gives a room that some people can take advantage of that situation and normalize GVV. And at the end of the day, I all become girls, asa sala kana amulu zedana bamulu sunutani. Mafa jana bamulu. Normalizing GVV in the aspect of that. And then the last one that I also have here is the isolation or loss of value. You begin to feel you don't belong to a particular community. For instance, in other places, when people sit for a meeting, you talk according to your pocket. And the respect is accorded to you according to your wallet. And this one, it happens across all communities. Somebody without money, you are not supposed to talk. Others, even when you talk, your message is not taken importantly. And this one happened to men. And this is what we cannot deny. Now, when such kind of things begin to happen, no one wants to listen to you because you don't have a job. No one wants to value you because you don't have a job or you don't have money. Definitely, you will feel like you are not part of a given setting. And these are some of the practical things that I can add. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah, definitely Lemmy has raised a lot of concerns and issues that are actually affecting men rather, in terms of cultural norms, stereotyping, and also sometimes psychological issues that men are facing and why they're quiet. We will come to that later. And now let's go to Bail Cha. Bail, how can we challenge harmful cultural practices while still respecting culture?
Thank you very much. Now that is one interesting statement. You see, they say what you say is as important as how you say it. Most of the times, the interventions fail as a result of the approach. Now, when you put it in terms of saying how can we challenge these harmful practices while respecting the culture itself. Most of the times, for instance, when we talk about maybe wife inheritance as a practice is apart from saying it's unacceptable, it is not something that we can encourage. But how we go about it will determine how they would be able to respond. So, for instance, if we're talking about wife inheritance, we're supposed to come at them from an angle of concern, from the dangers. What are some of the dangers that are imposed as a result of wife inheritance? If we get to tell them, for instance, there's disease, there is a lot of maybe the wife is maybe the lady herself has to choose, maybe she doesn't love this person that she's being given. So when we come at it from a point of the concern that we are having, they themselves will actually know, oh, this is bad. The same thing as when we talk about illegal marriages, and we say, we don't come and say this is not acceptable, you should not be giving out to your daughters at a young age, but we don't tell them why. But if we come at them and tell them we respect your way of life, but again we engage them, this is what, how about we look at this in a more engaging manner. Let's examine it. Why should these girls go at this point? They're immature. They're not yet old. Maybe they're not yet mature enough to be able to handle. They're maybe handling their households. So in coming to them like that, we'll be able to give them a room for them to be able to share with us. The other one as well would be when we talk about the markings. The markings as a culture, we normally have those markings and we do it in groups. That's like a generation. So men, about 15 men can be cut with the same knife. You're not going to come and tell them, you abuse them and tell them, oh, this is very wrong, don't you know this can do? But then when you approach them in respect to what they do, because they have been brought up, they have been born in that aspect, they do not even know some of those dangers. So our work as people who want change is to be able to engage them constructively. We don't have to judge them, we don't have to call them names, but the approach itself will help us get the results that we need. So I would encourage that everybody that's listening, that when we're challenging these harmful practices, we must do it in full respect of these different cultures, because that is their way of life. Yes, thank you.
Right, thank you for that. And I will shortly also open our lines to pick few calls and be brief on 0911 or 22986 But Martin, let me come to you before we cross to that. Let's talk about also conflict. And we had a history of coming out of conflict. We have the 2013, 2016, and do you see, like in one way or another, it has also contributed, because we've received multiple reports, especially from UN agencies, about how conflict or how parties to the conflict really used violence also to commit crimes, where perpetrators sometimes are found, or the issue of impunity when it comes to gender-based violence. Or how best can we really try to also educate parties to the conflict to ensure that they should not use GBV as a weapon during violence?
That's also a very good question, and let me just add one thing, as my colleague has just mentioned, because some time back we used to call him a cultural man, that is Biel, and of course you can understand from his communication, he was saying, mentioning things to do with wife inheritance. Right. So this has been his discussion for some time. Okay. Now, we have been having discussion with some of my fears, including them. When we look at the cultures, we are not saying entirely that the cultures are bad practices. That's not the case. We are saying the cultures have some good parts that has to be maintained, but there are those parts that we see and we feel that are affecting the other ones. Like, for example, the girl child. There are some practices that are really affecting them. So we come in and we say, no, those parts need to be reformed. That's where reform should take place. But he mentioned things to do with the wife inheritance. Of course, if we go to legally, we will say that one becomes the issue of human right. It's not something that that has to be compromised. It's human being has to decide on what to do. Though at a certain age you need guidance, but of course we will not go to that, because I think it will be another topic of another discussion. Now back to the question on how the war have contributed to GBV. I have personally, I have seen situation, I've read situation I have been able to watch other situations on social media relating to wars, I realized that men, in most cases, men are the one who are the perpetrators of gender-based violence in the war places or in the war-torn countries. And my reasoning was, why do men do all those things? I realized, some of the things they do to make sure that the other opponent feel the pain. And where I come from, they normally say, any war that reaches women and children is a very dangerous war. Any war that reaches women and children is a very dangerous war. Which means literally they are saying, if the war has gone to the vulnerable people, then it is the right of the community at that particular time to respond. It does not matter whether the response will be right or wrong, but they have to come in. So now you find that in this situation, for example, in the incident of 2013 in our country, South Sudan, things have happened. We all know this. Even the leadership of the country knows. Men are doing practices like things to do with rape, things to do with, normally it would be even called, for the lack of better word, but they take people's children, like these young girls, without even their consent, without even the parent knowing. So that will be, they call it abduction. Okay, they abduct these children, and then they will say these are their wives. They will stay with them for a certain time, and as we speak now, some of them, they have become mothers in those families. To my understanding, it is against their will. But because the situation at that time, there was no legal institution that are operating at that time, there was nothing, so they used that opportunity to do those bad practices against the women as well.
So you're saying male counterparts or the perpetrators sometimes,
yes,
they're committing those things because they want the other person to feel it,
the pain.
other gender
they want
to feel the pain.
Yeah, they want the opponent to feel the more pain, because anything that affects the child, anything that affects the woman, the man of that side become very concerned, and you feel a lot of pain. And maybe to add it, where I come from, whenever there is these communal attacks, the first people that have to be taken away from that community or to be taken to a safer side are women and children. You take them to a safer side, and then as men, you come now and defend the land, because they see these people are very vulnerable.
Yes.
And anything that has reached them, it means it has reached the core of the community. So that's why they are taken to safer side. Yeah.
جبنا عليه حوالي 8 دقائق لرأس الساعة. خلينا نرفع مكالمتين بكل اختصار في اللقاء اللي احنا بنتكلم فيه. وتذكر ده جزء لا يتجزأ من 16 days of activism against gender based violence. والضيوف بتاعنا في الاستوديو من منظمة بتاع Men for Women. عندك أي سؤال لضيوفنا في الاستوديو ده الوقت اللي تتصل بكل اختصار بعد الفاصل.
Give your baby the best start from day one with Mamilak, South Sudan's #1 infant formula. Mamilak infant milk 0 to 6 months and follow-on milk 6 to 12 months are packed with all the nutrients your little one needs for a strong immune system, healthy bones and teeth, and a sharp growing mind. Proudly made in Europe, Mamilak gives your baby top quality nutrition at a price every family can afford. Grab it at any shop or pharmacy near you. Mamilak,
This is
together
iRadio,
from birth.
your eye on South Sudan.
Welcome back from the break. We now pick few calls straight to the point. 0911 or 22 986 986. Radio. Hello, Radio.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
David Magog from Wow.
David Magog, welcome.
Let me welcome your girls to the studio, and I have two questions to them. Number one, are you meant for women in the town or in the country? Because now we did not see you in remote areas, and this GBV that we are talking about now in English and Arabic is happening there without the language. Why are you not coming there so that you inform the community leaders, leadership of what is going on? This is number one. Number two is about the gender, because you are not covering the side of the women than the men. And there are, if you, the Juba now, the city that you are talking about, there are very small boys that have been taken by sugar mommy, and you don't want to talk about it. Thank you.
All right. Very interesting questions there. I think he actually represented most of the listeners because he put like the two questions directly. So we have less than 5 minutes. So you can share the answers to the questions. Boys are also being abused by he calls them sugar mummies. All right, Molan, I can see you want to respond.
Okay, quickly, I just want to respond. Of course, he said, are you Men for Women? Of course, Men for Women is an organization, but we are a team that work for that organization.
Yeah, he actually meant like, are you in town only, or what about them, for instance, in WOW or other states?
Okay, we are not only in town. We have been doing activities in Yambio. We have been doing activities in Torit. We have been doing activities in Terkeka. We have been doing activities in Mangala. We have not yet reached WOW. And of course, I think in the next 2 years or maybe next year, inshallah, we'll get to WOW. So we are not only in Juba. Maybe the other question of young men being taken by the old women, the sugar mummies, I think it will be handled by my colleagues.
The culture guy is here.
Thank you very much. The question was, we are only defending women and we're not defending young men. There are young men within the city that are suffering in the hands of sugar mummies, according to him. As men, we are not only for women. It's just that the women have spoken louder, or the issues of women have become it's now rampant compared to men. You men keep quiet. What do? You're not telling us what is happening. Now that you brought it up that the sugar mummies are disturbing you, now we can now have another intervention to find out how do we now be able to constructively engage the women. So my brother, yes, we stand up for everybody, even for men, for men as well. We discuss with a lot of young men and young adults, in terms of a variety of topics. So if you have an issue, call us. We'll still have you. We'll still have and help you. There's something with women and girls as well.
Okay.
Right. Yes, let me.
Okay. Regarding the issue of Men for Women, when Men for Women is started, I think of lately, it is just a recent initiative. So far we have expanded we have reached with our activities to almost all parts of South Sudan. This year we had activities targeting all the 3 regions, and certain their male, it is called the Gender Equality Champions, which was done in WOW. Maybe what I can just guarantee here is that the magnitude now to reach like so many people, it is this year that we are expanding simultaneously. And then regarding the side of the boys, our programs, we put it generally as Men for Women, and our programs are bisected into different segments. We have school-going programs. These ones are done in school. Like recently, there is a program that is going on, and at least up to this far, I want to guarantee to everyone that we have reached the 3 greater regions of South Sudan, and 2 administrative areas, especially this year. We have expanded simultaneously. And for the boys who are taken as the sugar mummies, our focus is in the area of sexual reproductive health right. As a boy, as a girl, as a woman, as a man, you should have let's say, autonomy over your body. You should know what is right for you and what is not right for you. Now, if a person choose to go for sugar mommy, nobody pushes that person, but the person went. Who called it that person? So it is a solid personal responsibility for everyone to know their rights over their body. If you opt to go for sugar daddy, sugar mommy, ask yourself, why am I opting for this? So ours, we do the awareness raising through the radio. For instance, we have come here, we are reaching over all parts of South Sudan. Therefore, the responsibility of taking the information is now depending on all of us. If we opt to go right, if you opt also to go wrong way, Now it is a personal decision. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your response. Nice questions, by the way, from our listeners. And maybe I can just highlight this question, right? We have on Facebook, maybe for later discussions because we don't have time. But important inquiry that has been risen this morning and saying صباح الخير أي راديو وضيفك في الاستوديو سؤالك الآتي المساواة بين الجنسين لا زالت في أطوار البداية ولماذا يستخرج جواز السفر للمرأة بدون موافقة رجل؟ ثانيا تقاليد وعادات موجودة في البلاد لا يمكن أن يكون المرأة صاحبة قرار في بيت. ثالثا زواج البنت في حالة موافقة البنت على الزواج هل هي مخالفة؟ Those are the questions that has been raised this morning from Sebit Babu. I don't know, maybe you can add more on that.
Right, it's briefly like someone, let's say, getting married. You marry off your daughter, for instance, without your girl or your daughter. That's like saying yes, I love that person or not. You marry her off. So what would you say in that regard? And also women at some point when it comes to the house, like family shows or family affairs, they don't have a say when it comes to the decision making. So how can really this be addressed? Briefly, we have like few seconds. Yes.
And anyway, it's a very difficult question sometimes. You know, anything that comes, any question that comes and it has that cultural kind of support, sometimes it becomes very difficult to have a genuine answer. But my take is this. Of course, it is true. Women have not been given a platform where they can sit with the men and have a discussion when it comes to decision in the house. It is also true, even the girls are married off at a very early age, and those decisions normally they are driven by men. And again, the other part that make it very difficult. Even women at certain point, they are the one putting these girls on pressure. If the girl is maybe the age of 20, they start saying ita biga juice kalas malaka. You find a man to go with. So sometimes it becomes very difficult to give a comprehensive answer. But what I will say is this: assume that that's your daughter, for example, and you are just giving to somebody simply because of resources. I will also give it back to you as a question: how do you feel as a father? How do you feel as a parent? So that's a question back to the person. Thank you.
Very quick one regarding his question.
Briefly, we are actually running out of time now. Yes.
Yeah, I understand. This is a matter of concern. First, when you look at the Constitution, Special Part 2, which is talking about the Bill of Rights, there are rights for women. A woman or a girl has a right for family. And doing something without the consent of the girl is a violation of the girl's right. So this is a matter of, there is also maybe need for further awareness on the rights of everyone. Thank you.
Right, thank you very much, gentlemen. Lemmy, Biel, and Martin, we hope to have you again since we have 16 days of activism. Hope to have you soon. We continue our conversation. Thank you. With that, we have come to the end of the Dawn edition for today. We do apologize for taking 3 minutes of your time from the news in Arabic. We'll leave it there for today. On behalf of the Dawn team, Emmanuel, Joseph Akile, and Irene Jackson, let's meet again tomorrow. Have a good day.